what's happening, everybody? So last episode in my van build series, I cut out some templates for cutting up the slue-on for the back doors and the sides. Well, actually, I just showed you one side, but I did the same process for all of them. And I installed the Fantastic fan up there. So this time, I'm going to be using these templates to cut up the slue-on back here. Don't worry, the other side's a lot prettier than this. Basically, there's kind of... I can either just lay out this template on top and trace it out the best I can and cut, and I think that's the way I got to do it. The other way that I've seen done with Dan Travels is he took the paper template and drew it on a cardboard and test fitted that and made sure that that was right, and that was like a insurance that it's going to be right. I really like taking risk and I don't mind messing up, so I think I'm just going to do it this way and see what happens. Like I said, all of this stuff is going to be out of sight. It's mainly just a structural thing. So if I mess up the cut a little bit and it doesn't look perfect, it's no big deal. I'm going to get more practice with the jigsaw that I'm going to use, and I'll be much better at it. I'm going to start with the parts that are totally out of sight. For instance, the back door parts that I cut out. These are going to be, you'll be able to see these. So I'm gonna double check these templates, make sure they're absolutely perfect. And then I'm going to do them last when I've had a little bit of practice with the jigsaw with the other two pieces that you're not going to be able to see at all. So yeah, that's what I'm doing today. Woo! All right. So as a living, breathing, biological being, I am concerned about the safety of my lungs. Oh, this is upside down, but you can see there's a tag on here that says California Phase 2 compliant. That means that for formaldehyde, that means there is less than 0.5 parts per million formaldehyde off-gassing from this, which means that it's very low formaldehyde, but there is formaldehyde in it, which is obviously bad for us. So the way that I'm going to do this, and make sure you look for the Phase 2. Phase 1 has a lot more formaldehyde in it. The way I'm going to do this is I found this paint. I forget the name of the place that makes it, but it is local, and I'm going to go price it out pretty soon here. They make this paint that's all natural. It's no VOC, volatile organic compounds, which are dangerous chemicals. And basically, they claim, and I don't know how true this is, that it somehow absorbs formaldehyde. I'm going to pop this. There we go. It somehow absorbs formaldehyde and doesn't let it release into the air. So if that's true, then if I paint this stuff with that, then it will release no formaldehyde. And the paint itself won't release any dangerous chemicals either. So I'll be in the clear that way as far as breathing in toxic crap in a teeny tiny little environment. I do always have windows open, at least a crack, and there's always airflow in this thing. But still, I want to reduce dangerous chemicals as much as possible. All right, so my process now is the top part of this. I did not cut. This is the factory cut of this paper, so it's perfectly straight, or at least as perfect as it gets. I can't cut that straight with scissors. So I'm lining that up with the already cut top of this piece of wood because it's also extremely straight and way more straight than I can get with a jigsaw. And now I'm just going to flatten the whole thing out and make sure everything lines up perfectly, and then set some heavy stuff on top. Make sure the paper lies completely flat because that'll give me the best measurement. And then I'm just gonna mark the outside with a Sharpie because I don't have a pencil. It'd probably be a lot smarter to do with a pencil, but I have no idea where one is, and I don't want to waste time looking for one when this will work just as good. And then when I cut, I'm gonna cut slightly on the inside of the mark that I made. You following me? So because I'm cutting on the inside, it'll be the same as the same distance from up here to here as the paper is. All right. So there's that one. And there's a couple spots I wasn't able to get, so I'll just go in afterwards and just kind of mark them up and round everything off. Now, I'm going to use this because this doesn't even go halfway. I'm actually going to use the template for the other side of the wall and do the same process on this side. That way this one piece of paper, this one piece of wood will cover both walls. And I'll have a big area down there that's unused that I could probably use for one of the doors. Couple more quick things about this process. First of all, I use earplugs because my hearing is really important to me as a lover of music and communication, and eye protection always. So the reason I chose Luan for this paneling is because it's really thin, it's really easy to work with. It wasn't too expensive, it was about 20 bucks a sheet, and it's a good insulator on its own. And this other side, if you're gonna like stain it like natural look, this is really attractive looking. I don't know why they put all these X's and stuff on the other side. I guess it's to help you measure, but this other side is really attractive looking. So that's one more thing, is make sure you're aware of which side you're cutting and which side you want out. For instance, that side I cut with the X's on the outside. It doesn't matter, I'm not gonna be able to see that, and I'm gonna paint over it anyway. So that wasn't important to me at all. But if you do want the pretty side out, make sure you're aware of which side you're cutting. And the other thing, the reason why I use the jigsaw is because it makes these corners super, super, super easy to cut. It just, I mean, look at this. It just navigates these turns like no problem. So, oh, and I used a blade that's finer for smoother cuts. You could use a rougher blade that cuts faster, but that'll give you some really rough looking cuts. So yeah, let's see how these fit. All right, so they fit great. This side, I'd have to remove the hinges to like make like totally sure that it fits great, but it does. I can tell by looking at it. And that side fits exactly how I want it as well. Now the next step is to paint the backs. Like I said, this is an organic material, so it is susceptible to mold. When I had the mold issue, there was no standing water back here. It was all on the floor, trapped under the rubber carpet in the denim insulation. So I'm not like hugely worried about it, but I really want to paint the back side of this. And I think I'm going to use what I used for all this stuff, just for the back, is this mold and mildew proof interior paint. I'm just going to paint the back of this because if I am in a cold climate or a really, really humid climate again, which I would definitely be in a very humid climate again, I just don't want to take any chances. So I'm going to paint the back of this with this mildew proof stuff. And I'm going to do the exact same process that I did to cut these two parts out for this back part. All right, so this side took a little more fine adjustment, but it fits absolutely perfectly inside of there. So I have all this denim insulation inside of here, and then I put plastic on the bottom parts, thinking that if somehow water got in here, it would leak down onto the plastic and just go under. But I've felt around in here so much, there's been no water in here at all. Even though on this side there is the license plate bracket, I sealed it off really well. And this part's sealed too. There's no water getting in here. So I have no problem sealing this up. Yeah, the other side, I test fitted this on the other side and it does not fit perfectly on this side. So I'm gonna have to do is the same thing. I'm gonna have to trace this out onto the wood here and cut it out and just keep fine fitting it with the jigsaw, just a little tiny bit at a time. Keep trying and cutting and trying and cutting. But then when I'm done with this, I'm gonna paint the back side with the mold stuff, mold paint. And first I'm gonna sand down the edges so it's nice and smooth. And then the outside, I don't know what I'm gonna do with. I really like the look of this wood grain. And you see how the pattern's going up and down like that? So I'm gonna make sure that the other side is exactly the same, so I don't have one side with wood going up and one side sideways. That would look really weird. So yeah, woo! All right, so I got these pieces painted, and as you can see, you can still kind of see through it. You can see all the X's, and I actually marked these two pieces that go on the back doors with what side they go on and which orientation, and I knew I'd still be able to see it with one coat. So I just put one coat of paint on them, and I used the stuff that I had on the old build. It's a perma-white mold and mildew proof interior paint, and it's low VOC. It's not no VOC, so there are some harmful chemicals in here. But the idea is that I'm gonna go over all of this with the no VOC paint, which is supposed to help clean the air and rid the air of volatile compounds. So this is a mold-proof like base layer that's gonna be painted over with the completely non-toxic stuff. Basically, I have a bunch of this, so I wanted to put a coat on this stuff because the goal is to have everything totally painted. You're not going to be able to see this, but when I open drawers and stuff, you'll be able to see the inside part. So that I want painted with the the color paint that I'm going to use on the outside of everything else that gets painted in here. So that's basically it for today, guys. I'm just going to let this stuff dry. I think one coat's enough. I might actually, when they're dry, flip them over and do another coat of the white stuff. And then when I paint the new paint on top, which is going to be tan, then it'll just be a little lighter on the inside of the boxes. That's fine. So yeah, that's basically it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you got anything out of this, make sure you give me a thumbs up and drop me a comment. Let me know what you think, and check out my other playlists. I got van tours. I got another build that I did. I got a whole bunch of videos specifically on van dwelling and things to help you thrive with that. So yeah, like and subscribe. Love yourself.